wonderful ideas and suggestions for guests and topics.
Great events, programs, and student faculty.
All the factors are useful.
Welcome to this week's segment of Dialogue Houston. I'm your host, Lawrence Payne. To our regular viewing audience, welcome. To those perhaps joining us for the first time here for HCC's TV Dialogue Houston, we can be found now every Tuesday and Thursday at 6 a.m. and again at 6 p.m. and Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. Always on top of the hour, let me thank you for your thoughtful calls, emails, and text messages concerning previous shows that we've aired here on HCC TV, but particularly your great ideas for suggestions for topics and guests and subjects to be covered on upcoming segments of Dialogue Houston. For after all, this is your community affairs, public affairs show here on HCC TV, now proudly in its 25th season, thanks to you. We have a great show planned for you today. We're going to look at an aspect, first of all, here at HCC, and then we're going to have the wonderful San Jacinto Girl Scout Council on to talk about all the wonderful work they do and also a great event they have coming up. And so we'll get to that right after the break and we'll go talk to them. But for now, I'm happy to have with me on the set Ravi Brahmbhatt, who is the Director of Student Innovation and Entrepreneurship at the Southwest Campus here at HCC. He has a lot to bring us up to speed on what's been happening in his area, and it's so great to have him here. Good to see you again, buddy.
Thank you, Larry.
All right. There is, and I was not oversimplifying or over-exaggerating, there's a lot going on in your area particularly, because that's one of the growth areas.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so our Center for Entrepreneurship at Southwest, so we've got 5 campuses in that area. And we work closely with our Center of Excellence with digital information technology and advanced manufacturing. So we've got tremendous growth areas there, right? We've got students looking for this education, and we're trying to help them foster it with entrepreneurship.
Right.
What does it mean to be a tech entrepreneur? So a lot of workshops, a lot of opportunity workshops, a lot of a big competition. We call it the Ideas Pitch competition. And then we also have services where we mentor and help our students take that idea to a prototype, to a startup, to a small business.
But in the tech area, innovation has to be just growing exponentially and changing as fastly as they can learn. It seems like it's always developing and changing.
Yeah, and people say it's all, so here's the thing. You get the fundamentals right.
Right.
The change is not that bad. If you are...
It's still within those guardrails and parameters, right? Okay.
Absolutely. So I value the process so much because the end result, that's the part that keeps changing, right? New tools, new technology, new innovations. But the process of being innovative, process of being creative, process of being frugal, and when we teach them, they learn how to be successful in the tech space.
And the beauty of, just a little bit I know from some of the young people I know who are working in this field, just the beauty of mastering an algorithm and creating your own algorithm and learning how all that works, and then turning that into an app that I actually help create, and all the other pieces that go with that is just amazing, because they just kind of say, look what we can do.
Yeah, the opportunities in the tech space is tremendous, just because now one individual could be organizing massive amount of people.
Right.
So I take pride in that. As a tech educator,
right.
I recently helped put together a very massive event in Houston, and it was done with 1,200 volunteers.
Wow.
And all of us were working off WhatsApps and Trellos, which is another tool for project management, and Wufoo, which is a survey collection tool. There's so many different technology tools we used to organize ourselves and pull off an event with 59,000 people. So it is now the best time to make the greatest impact with one person's idea, using technology as the platform.
So the process from moving from the innovation stage and the creative stage to becoming an entrepreneur is a whole nother ball game altogether, because the skill sets of being a successful entrepreneur who may have a great idea, may have a great new widget, but to turn it into a practical business, something that you can really operate and run, what we found rather from having many students involved in entrepreneurship in different aspects in ACC, is to teach them really that it is a business first of all. It has to be run, organized like a business. And to make sure that the one thing I've learned from all the entrepreneurs that's been on this show, to make sure that they're not undercapitalized when they start off, because they'll never catch up.
And, you know, yes, you're right. However, money has never been the problem for entrepreneurs, right? A good idea, it's not the money that holds it back. It is presentation skills. It is the ability to get buy-in. It is the ability to convince an investor or an angel or a VC.
It's the pitch. It's the pitch skill.
It's the pitch, right? Because banks are in the business of giving away money so they can get more money back, right? Who doesn't want that principle and interest back? So it is teaching the entrepreneur today that look, you've got to really get, you know, if you want to make an app, you can't rely on others. You got to learn that skill yourself, right? So that, and you don't have to be the perfect specialist in it.
But you have to know enough to know that what they're doing is what you needed done.
Absolutely. So building those skills is ever so important. So yes, the academic education is important, but now it's all about getting more skills, getting more certifications, getting, you know, learning about cybersecurity, because that's another huge potential for startups, for young entrepreneurs to capitalize in this area. If you know how to do some of these things, well, now you could be consultants for large companies and start a little small company and grow that into a venture. And you know, that's what California does. Why not us?
Exactly.
Why not our hometown? And we have.
And Austin has proven that we can do it here in Texas just as well as anybody else. So.
Absolutely. Texas is such an entrepreneurial state. Cannot, you know. We have everything. Our biggest problem sometimes is we have everything so spread out that we don't know what we have. Even for HCC, we have everything. But we're so large that we don't always know where everything is. So it does take a little bit of trial and error to find out where things are and learn. So.
There's a group of entrepreneurs, laptop workers, whose office is their laptop and the Starbucks down the street.
Absolutely.
I happened to be in the Starbucks by the Galleria the other day, and this guy who I see all the time in the corner, he claims his corner early, he's there almost every day working. I went up to him because I've seen him enough times to interact with him. I said, how's it going today? What you doing? He said, man, I've got a good thing here. I'm about to close on a $5 million contract to do this creative, innovative thing with another team in Canada. And so he works right there, that's his office, that laptop. He actually closed it while we were there. He gave out a big yelp when it all happened. And he says, I'm only 3 years old in this company. I started off with no clients and no contracts. And he said, I've grown it sitting here with my this is my company. I haven't, and I guess that's where it's kind of headed, is it not?
Yeah, and in fact, it's not even the laptop anymore. It's now the smartphone, right?
All right.
You could be on your smartphone on a bus and be able to, again, you know, this event that happened, able to coordinate volunteers and still have a day job and still teach. It's now mobility. You know, it's the access to the internet, and not just any internet, fast internet. Smarter phones, faster internet, and combine that with that entrepreneurial virus that you can catch from others. You could really change the world today and have global impact right in our backyard.
And I forgot to mention he was only 26 years old. So that's the piece that really makes it. So we have a great opportunity workshop coming up.
Yes.
So tell us about that before we run out of time here.
Absolutely. So we have partnered with Microsoft stores to come teach these digital skills, teach these apps, the Office.com or MS365 apps to our public, to our students, to our faculty and staff. And they're happening at our Stafford campus, our Central Library campus, and at the Northeast Library on campus. So we encourage people to come out and take part in those. These are free. These are 101s led by a certified Microsoft trainer, and learn these digital skills because you could be an entrepreneur,
Right.
a tech entrepreneur, given that what you have some awareness and you're putting it into action. So.
How much in the future is this whole tech entrepreneurship and innovation? It seems to be the area that's eventually going to kind of not take over or run our lives, but really assist our lives in so many ways that what we kind of see and do today, all that's going to be obsolete very quickly.
So the way I look at this is we're going from this economy to a gigs economy, right? So
Okay.
a gigs economy is where you're not just in one job for 50
Right,
years, right?
right.
You are working on multiple jobs at once as a contractor and other things, and you're hired for your skills and your talents. And tools, websites like Fiverr.com, Freelancer.com, these folks are making tremendous amount of money just by working a few hours a day
Right.
for a few clients. The
But
example
the
you
kid-
gave
the
earlier.
kid, the kid and his
and-
partner in Canada.
And that's happening globally,
Right.
right? So that is now what the innovation is. It's the new industry. And in Texas, it used to be oil as the gold.
Right.
Now it's data. Data is the gold.
Yeah.
So that's where we're headed.
And we're going to be paid in bitcoins? No.
Well, I hope not. But if that's where the industry goes, we'll adopt.
Well, I think what you've shown and kind of demonstrated, the picture is rosy, the future is great, the innovation technology is there. The challenge is us to just rise to the occasion, particularly the young people who grasp this stuff very quickly. That is there waiting for you here at ACC. It's there waiting for you to connect and be part of it. Come visit Ravi, come see the campus, come look at as we say, and kick the tires and visit him. So great to have you here.
Thank
we
you,
thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
All right, and tell us really quick where you can be found.
So my office is at the Missouri City campus, and the best way to get in touch with us is through our website, hccs.edu/small business.
There it is on the screen now.
And also you can find me on LinkedIn and elsewhere, so happy to help.
He's very involved and engaged in a lot of things with technology and innovation across the city with many different organizations and platforms. He's been really kind of the leader in this, and so great to have you on again, Ravi. Thank you.
Thank you
All right, we're going to have to take a small pause and break. When we come back, we're going to be joined by our good friends from the San Jacinto Girl Scout Council to talk about all things Girl Scouts and a great event coming up. In full disclosure, I'm very partial to the Girl Scouts because I was on their board for many, many years, so it's great to kind of reconnect with them, and we'll talk with them in a second. Please stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
HCC. So many reasons, so little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
When I was growing up, my mom was extremely tidy. We were trained to put things back where we got them from. One day, when I walked into my mom's house, I felt like I walked to someone else's house. There was stuff everywhere. And just growing up the way I grew up, and to see this transition was very alarming.
When Sean talked to me, it was a wake-up call, and that's when I went to the doctor.
HCC's online college is officially open. This not only means online classes, but also online degrees and certificates. You can now credential up anytime, anywhere. Join the fast-growing number of students getting their full college education from anywhere they use a laptop. HCC currently offers 32 fully online degrees and will offer 71 next year. You no longer have to find a way or time to get to college. HCC brings college to you.
HCC. So many locations. So little tuition. Register today at hccs.edu/now.
If you're with us for the first part of the show, you know we had a great conversation with looking at entrepreneurship and innovation here at HCC. We're going to turn slightly a little bit because we're going to talk with our good friends from the San Jacinto Girl Scout Council, who, by the way, is moving into this whole area of technology also and innovation. A whole bunch of new patches and badges that we used to not have, most of it dealing with technology. To help us talk about the current state of affairs with Girl Scouts and how it has grown and developed in the last few years, is not your Girl Scouts that you used to know many years ago. It's Connie Chavez, who is the Chief External Affairs Officer for the San Jacinto Girl Scout Council. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Glad to be here.
Thank you. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
So bring us up to speed on today's Girl Scouting, because it's not what it used to be.
Absolutely. So, a core part of our program will always be the same, the values.
Right.
The values we instill in girls: honesty, fairness, how to be good citizens and provide
Solid
service to the
character
community.
education.
Absolutely.
Yep.
But when you look at the badges that our girls are earning today, you're looking at coding, cybersecurity. You're looking at how to stay safe when they're on the internet. A lot of focus on technology, space science, and naturally the outdoors, getting girls outdoors to help them become balanced individuals who can appreciate nature and just be healthy.
Right, and you can still learn to sail and to ride horses and all that
Absolutely.
traditional stuff that we did at camp. But it really has always been, I think the San Jacinto Girl Scouts Council has always been kind of ahead of lots of organizations in the city, particularly nonprofits. For instance, and this goes back quite a few years now, when I was on the board, and I think still to this day, you have on your website the only nonprofit in the city of Houston that has a pluralism statement on their website. Pluralism is something we talked about way back when. We started a pluralistic subcommittee council on the Girl Scout. We have the Irvin Chu Award that I think we still give annually. But all of that was, I guess I'm going to date myself now, 30 years ago? Yes. And I checked before today, just out of curiosity, about 12, 15 nonprofits who kind of work in some of the similar spaces that the girl. We're still the only nonprofit in Houston that has a pluralism statement as part of their body, of their mission and vision, right up front on their website.
Absolutely. Diversity, inclusiveness is so important to our organization. And when a person volunteers to sign up, we ask two things. We ask that they subscribe to the Girl Scout Promise and Law, and we ask that they subscribe to our pluralism statement, which is to be opening and accepting of all girls and volunteers.
Right.
And that's so important to us, something we're incredibly proud of.
Yeah. And we actually coined a definition for pluralism here in Houston that actually the National Girl Scouts picked up also. Simple version is, in diversity, we count how many of each kind of person, ethnicity, race, gender. In pluralism, the human being counts just because they're a human being. Simple as that. To live in a pluralistic society, in a pluralistic Houston, to live in a city with 145 different languages, to be the most diverse city in America, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. To say all that still takes work and focus, does it not?
Absolutely. Absolutely, it does. And I think one of the critical factors in being able to deliver the Girl Scout leadership experience successfully is to recognize that a Girl Scouts experience is as diverse as all of the girls. who we serve.
Right.
Every girl's an individual. Every girl has her own passions to pursue, her own interests, her own leadership journey, and that's important to recognize it. We're a girl-led organization,
Right.
and so that plays a big part in having a foundation to support girls where they are and help them grow into the best version of themselves possible.
And with the changing demographics of Houston constantly, the recruiting of girls of color is really kind of the challenge ongoing, because that's the bulk of the numbers right now.
Absolutely.
And I know you've always done a great job. It's not either or, it's both and. It's always been very inclusive of everyone. But it's that inclusiveness where many times the girls get to rub shoulders and elbows with each other. In the resegregated public school system, Girl Scouting may be the one place that you really still get to rub elbows with each other.
That is so true, and I have heard this from so many people. I'm not only a staff member, I'm a troop leader, and so it's something that I've witnessed myself as well, but I have so many volunteers who say, I like my troop because girls from all walks of life come together. Girl Scouting levels the playing field,
Yes.
and when they come together, they're themselves.
Yes.
And they get to interact with girls from all backgrounds,
Right.
all walks of life, and that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That doesn't
And
matter.
that's important in the city of Houston. We take that for
Absolutely.
granted, but you know, I got to say this because it plays into everything about building those relationships of mutual trust and respect with someone different than yourself, quote unquote, the other. That's getting harder to do. Houston's 210,000 kids in HISD. Let's talk about HISD for a moment. 210,000 kids in HISD. Only 8.9% of those kids left are Anglos. So HISD now represents the resegregated school district, which I have to put a word in front of the new majority, the new unempowered majority. And so the question becomes, with the work with the Girl Scouts, you're bridging and crossing many kind of barriers and connection to just make it all work and do it so seamlessly to make it work. That is such a great experience that we want every girl possible to have that experience, quite frankly.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you know, a lot of people, when they think of Girl Scouting, they think of our traditional troop model, where a volunteer steps up
Right.
and leads the girls through their journey. But we also have our community outreach program, where we go into communities and work with schools where there is not that volunteer presence, either because it's a single parent household, parents are working 2-3 jobs.
Right.
So that's where Girl Scouting steps in to fill the gap and make sure that all girls have access to our leadership program. And aside from that, we also have financial assistance, so that $25 never stands in the way
Right.
of
Never
a
has
girl
been a barrier.
being a
Never.
Girl Scout and becoming a leader.
Never been a barrier. Even the funds to buy the uniform has never been a barrier. We've
Correct.
always figured that out.
Yes.
And that's important, though, because
So
we take
important.
we take so many things for granted. We take for granted with that low fee of $25 and the big purchase, the uniform. Folk don't have that money.
Right.
Simply cannot afford the uniform.
Right.
I've seen that many, many times.
Right. And the uniform is important because it allows girls to show, this is what I learned, this is what I've mastered,
Right.
this is what I can speak to. And so the uniform is a big part of their identity as Girl Scouts, but that should never stand in the way of a parent not
Right,
signing up their
right.
daughter to be a Girl Scout.
And it's a sense of belonging.
Absolutely.
You know, we talk about belonging in society. Everybody's looking to belong to something. A family, a tribe. Unfortunately, that's why the gangs membership is on the rise. It's a sense of belonging to some connection to a larger group of people than yourself. Girl Scouts afford that.
Right.
And many, many opportunities.
Yes.
All right, we have some great events coming up. Let's talk about those
We
real quick.
do. So right now, it's actually our heaviest registration season. We're signing up girls from kindergarten through 12th grade. We're also signing up their parents who want to be volunteers and get involved. We have a great online platform to train our volunteers at their convenience. So aside from that, forming troops, we also have Success to Significance coming up October 22nd.
That's the one I remember.
That is our signature fundraising luncheon, and this year we are so fortunate to have Admiral Michelle Howard. She is the first African-American
Yes,
woman
I
to
was reading
achieve the level of Admiral in the Navy. She was also a Girl Scout.
Yes.
No surprise.
No, no surprise.
But we're incredibly proud to have her, and for folks who care about supporting girls, future female leaders, fueling the female leadership pipeline, this is one way to
Right.
do it, through this event.
And the date again is October?
22nd.
At where?
It'll be at Silver Street Studios.
Okay. October 22nd, Silver Street Studios. By the way, it was a great location to have that because it's a nice big place.
We have great things planned.
Yep. And so if you haven't been in touch and been around Girl Scouting lately, come. This is a great event. You can see, touch, as we say, kick the tires, get to know the staff and the girls, et cetera. It's always a wonderful event. It's a very interactive event. Everybody gets to kind of talk and meet each other, mix and mingle. And I think that's important because, you know, the future of Girl Scouting going forward, By the way, tell us quickly, because I think people don't realize the numbers sometimes, how many Girl Scouts we actually have in this council, because the council is more than just Houston.
Absolutely.
It covers a pretty large swath of the Southeast Texas.
We are the second largest Girl Scout council in the country.
In the country?
In the country. We have 53,000 girls, and we rely on the help of about 17,000 volunteers covering 26 counties in Southeast Texas.
26 counties in
Yes.
Southeast Texas.
Yes.
And of course, Harvey put a dent in a lot of things, but we were able to kind of...
It did. It really, I mean, there's never good timing for a natural disaster,
Right.
but it took place right in the middle of our recruiting season. And so our first concern was making sure that our Girl Scout families were in a good place, were safe. We reached out with phone calls to all of our troops. And then we're just there for them when they were ready to come back. One of the great things about Girl Scouting is that as families were dealing with not having a home, not having cars,
Right.
a lot of chaos, Girl Scouting became that consistent thing in a girl's life. So it really helped a lot of girls heal, recover, and just have a distraction from a lot of the
Right,
chaos that
right,
came
right.
from Harvey and Imelda, quite frankly, as
I was
well.
going to say, how did we bear this recent flood event? Pretty same...
You know, we're checking in with our members, just making sure they're okay. If they need
So the
something,
Bowman
we
area
can
got it really
provide.
bad.
Very bad, and that is in our council
Right,
area.
right.
But you know, Girl Scouts is about a sisterhood, and so when there's a need, other girls will rally and support them, and we're here for them when they're ready to get back into Girl Scouting.
Girl Scouting has, as we say, taken on, I think the new merit badges is what, 20-some new merit badges?
42 new badges.
42?
Yes.
I had 22. I don't know why I had 20. 42.
Yes.
That's amazing, though. I
It
mean,
is.
because it just shows the growth of in the areas to keep up with the times, so to speak. It's very important to have those because now they can experience that whole broad new arena.
Absolutely, and these are skills that girls need today and will need in the future.
Right.
You know, there are things like coding and cybersecurity from girls starting in kindergarten.
Wow.
All the way to high school.
Oh, I love it.
And these badges were developed with girls' feedback and input. They
Right.
took a few years to develop. It's a long process, but we go to the girls and ask them, what do you want to see?
So by the time
And-
you graduated from high school, you pretty much
Right.
got this down pat.
Absolutely, that's the goal.
So as we recruit and we sign up volunteers and sign up parents, we're limited only by the number of volunteers we have to be able to populate the troops, right?
Absolutely. You know, we rely on our volunteers to really help us make Girl Scouting a reality in the community. And sometimes, you know, adults may think, well, I don't think I can do that. I'm not equipped. I'm not educated enough.
right.
I don't have enough time. But Girl Scouting today is really set up to meet parents as well where they are. So it's flexible, it's online, and it's really, they meet when it's convenient to them as well.
And become a troop leader. I was a troop leader. It was a lot of fun. Boy Scouts, unfortunately not Girl Scouts, but Boy Scouts. And it's an experience both for you as the volunteer, as a troop leader, and for the troop. I have to say this, you really learn from each other. It's an ongoing kind of growth process because something new pops up every time you have a gathering. And because everyone's lives are so compounded and so complex these days, when you share the stories, it becomes really a great event. Because as we say always on Dialogue Houston, life is just a series of stories along the journey. So we must share our stories with each other. We must get to know each other. We must build those relationships of mutual trust and respect. We must have the peace that they bring so well, character education. And we thank you, Connie.
Thank you
We look
so
forward
much.
to seeing you on the
Thank you.
22nd.
Thank you.
We're going to continue keeping up with the growth of Girl Scouting here in the Houston area. They tell me I have to get out of here for now, so until next week, we look forward to you joining us. And until then, as always, peace, power, and love.